Namaskar, a very good afternoon to one and all. It is an honor to see all the dignitaries who have gathered here today. I, Yash Vora, on behalf of the FOSSI team, welcome you all to the launch of the Arduino books. So before we begin, let me just give a brief about FOSSI. The FOSSI, which stands for Free, Libre and Open Source Software for Education project, promotes the use of FLOSS tools to improve the quality of education in our country. We aim to reduce dependency on proprietary software in educational institutions. The FOSSI project is a part of the National Mission on Education through Information and Communication Technology, Ministry of Education, Government of India. So let me begin the event by welcoming Professor Kannan Maudgalya. He is a faculty in the Department of Chemical Engineering, IIT Bombay, and Iraq and Mehru Mehta, Advanced Education Technology Chair Professor. He is the principal investigator of the FOSSI project. I will now hand over to Professor Kannan. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Yash. I have a brief presentation. I would like to go through that. After that, we will have the book launch. There are 4 books to be launched. We will have the books launched, and then we would also have brief speeches by the dignitaries. After that, we have lots of interesting things. So I want to give a brief overview of the work that has gone behind this. So this is Arduino Uno. This is the microcontroller. So we have created experiments to make these sensors to work with Arduino Uno. And these sensors and actuators are soldered in a shield, and this fits snugly onto the Uno board. This is Arduino Uno. The Arduino comes in different flavors. Uno is one of them. And we drive this Uno shield combination using Arduino IDE itself. That's a software that comes with Arduino, but also with Scilab, Xcos, Python, Julia, and OpenModelica, all open source software. We also provide the firmware for all of these. We also have Uno with breadboard. These experiments are also given in the book. I'm going to give a brief overview of the creators to explain to you how we go about doing these things. So Sudhakar is the main person. He is the one who has cleaned up the whole thing that we have. And he did his bachelor's degree at Sri Mata Vaishno Devi University at Jammu. And he is finishing his MTech at IIT Bombay. He's going to join General Electric. We have Manas. Manas, the one, he did his MTech. During his MTech, he wrote many of these software for this. He also coordinated this activity. He is currently heading the OpenModelica activity at Whirlpool. And then these are some interns, and these are not necessarily ordered in any specific sequence. What I thought was I would first talk about people who, our interns and fellows first, and then we'll go to our staff members and so on. Pavni was a FOSSI intern. She did her BTech in BTech in BITS Goa in 2016. She joined as intern. She is currently working at Qualcomm, and she's going to study at Stanford. There will be a brief testimonial by her later on. We have Sonal, FOSSI intern. She did her VNIT BTech at VNIT Nagpur, and she went to CMU Carnegie Mellon to do her master's. She's working at Claridge as a software engineer. We have Tanmay, who was COEP BTech 2016. She was also a FOSSI intern. By the way, these are all authors. They all contributed to the development of this book. She worked at TRDTC. She is currently doing PhD at Wisconsin-Madison. Chandrasekhar, he joined from IIT Madras as a FOSSI fellow. He wrote the Julia code. He is going to Columbia for his higher studies in computer science. So Professor Chandrasekhar at Baba Sahib Ambedkar Marathwada University is actually a chemical engineering professor. He wrote Python code. At that time, we didn't have Python code. So he offered, why don't you make Python also available? So we welcomed it. So that's how we have Professor Chandrasekhar as a contributor. Samruddha, he guided the Modbus work. He was an IIT Bombay MTech. He's a data scientist at Jet2, which is a UK-based company. Now we have our managers who coordinated this activity. Rajesh heads the hardware team, is the overall head. We have Inderpreet. She was a FOSSI manager. She did MTech at IIT Bombay. She worked in many automobile companies as a control engineer. Now she is working at Vodafone as a assistant general manager in the IoT division. We have Rupak, FOSSI manager. He coordinated the whole thing. He used to coordinate. He has coordinated Scilab activity. We have Srikanth, FOSSI manager. He's the one who developed the operating system for Akash. When we went for that, he got Linux ported to that. He's in a company called ForcePoint. He is handling Linux system integration there. Nirmala, very important person. She did the novice check of the book, the 4 books, made sure that the mistakes are minimized. Of course, there might still be some corrections. We welcome people to point out, and then we will correct them. And she's also in the process of creating spoken tutorials on some of these. She also created spoken tutorials for the breadboard version of Arduino. So those are available. In fact, we conducted workshops in Nashik using this, and also for polytechnic teachers of Maharashtra. We conducted a workshop in Mumbai. I think we have some testimonials on that also. And the spoken tutorials were used in those workshops. And Nirmala was the main person who created. Of course, a team of people who created. FOSSI fellows created Arduino on cloud. We are not ready to launch this yet. It is still in the development phases. We have finished about 90% of the work. We have 2 managers with us, Nagesh and Firuza, and they coordinated this activity. I was trying to see if we could push this also into the book, but there's some more work to be done. I didn't succeed. This is important because we want to this environment will be very useful to assess people if they learn and if they write exams and if they want to establish the proficiency in Arduino using a cloud version and using some script or something, we will be able to grade them. So that is a plan we have. We welcome contributions. As I already told you, we received contributions from Professor Chandrasekhar, for example. In fact, Professor Subbalakshmi of VIT Chennai has offered a few Arduino experiments. We welcome maybe in the next version. There might be some more people who may want to offer things. By the way, some of the experiments are running only on Scilab Xcos. For example, Modbus. It is not available in Python, Julia, and OpenModelica. We also want people to help migrate. And then we will come up with a print edition soon. By the way, I told you e-copy will be available to all of you, and it will be made available free of cost. But we thought that some people may actually like to have a print version also. And we have one company, we have been working with, Shroff Publishers, and they have kindly agreed to print this. Normally, when you want to print a book, the publisher wants complete copyright. Here, it is being released under Creative Commons so that any software copy, e-copy can be downloaded. On top of it, this company has come forward to come up with a print edition. Obviously, it cannot be priced high, because if it is priced high, people will buy, use the free version, the soft copy. So there is a constraint on the print edition. So I've come to the end of my talk. I wanted to keep it brief. In case I have more points, I will add them as we go along. Our project is generously funded by that is the FOSSI project is generously funded by the National Mission on Education through ICT, Ministry of Education, used to be known as MHRD, Government of India. By the way, it's the same mission that has funded the spoken tutorial project also. With that, I will thank you for your patient hearing, and I will stop sharing. How do I do that?
So, sir, already it is not there. It is
Yes,
not shared now,
yes.
sir. Yeah.
I didn't share at all.
No,
Mm,
sir. In the end, it actually went off.
yes.
Which one
We
did
could
you
see
see? Did you
We were
see
able to see
audio?
the slides, sir.
Huh?
Yes. We were able to see the slides and the Arduino thing
all the
which you have
slides, sir.
shown.
Yeah.
Yes,
I see.
Arduino on cloud, and after that
You
also
saw
it is.
everything.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
yes.
Okay,
Okay.
then it's fine.
Yeah.
Thank you. Over to you,
Thank you
Yash.
so much, sir. Yes, thank you so much, sir. So may I now invite Professor Anil Sahasrabuddhe, AICT chairman, to launch the books. So Professor Anil Sahasrabuddhe is a professor of mechanical engineering at Indian Institute of Technology, Guwahati. He is also the chairman of Basic Scientific Research, Empowered Committee of UGC and Swayam Board. So he will be launching the books Microcontroller Programming with Arduino Scilab XCOS and Microcontroller Programming with Arduino and Python. So Anil sir, can you please share your screen and launch the books digitally?
So, congratulations for this FLOSS Arduino book launch ceremony. I hope, now the ribbon is cut.
Yes.
So, should I click here now?
Yeah.
Microcontroller programming with Arduino, Scilab, and SOS.
Yeah.
Yes.
And there is one more book to launch.
And we have these authors Sudhakar, Manas, Rajesh, Nirmala, Inderpreet, Samrudh, Srikant, Rupak, Tanmay, Kiranmay, Pavni, Sonal, and of course Kannan Modgulia. So congratulations to the entire team. And
You can scroll up. Scroll up. There is one more book to launch.
yeah, so this is microcontroller programming with Arduino and Python. So again, some are common names here: Sudhakar Kumar, Manas Ranjan Das, Nirmala Kaushilkar, Nirmala Venkat, Chandrasekhar, and of course Kannan Modgulia. So
Chandrasekhar is the professor at Baba
professor
Sahib.
at
Yeah.
in college there, and I think different people are contributing to this great effort in order to educate people in terms of all these new technologies in the form of book. Congratulations once again.
We would like to hear a few words from you, Professor Uday.
Oh, I have to.
Congratulations, everybody. Congratulations, sir.
Okay, we have Dr. Chintan Vaishnav from Niti Aayog, the man who is going to drive our innovation movement in the country, who have already started several tinkering labs all across the country. He is there with us, also along with him, Dr. Kannan Modgulia, IIT Bombay, one who was associated with CDEEP and then spoken tutorials and several initiatives for creating this FOSSI enthusiast group in IIT Bombay and across the country. You know, I think every month or so, Kannan Maudgulia will call me on a Sunday morning or some late afternoon or evening and say that I have got a new idea. Shall we do this? Shall we do that? And I say, okay. And then for every program, he is calling me a chief guest. I think, please, let us together find out new people to inaugurate your books and your new initiatives. I would be there as a listener. I would certainly come and enjoy all that work, good work that is being done. But I think now I had जो हिंदी में बोलते हैं ना पेट भर गया है तो अभी दूसरे को भी पेट भराएंगे ऐसे मैं कह रहा हूँ. So I think this particular set of books, 4 books, 2 of them now I have already launched. 2 of them Chintan is going to do it a little later. So microcontroller programming is very, very important, especially for students of all disciplines. Today, it is not just a discipline of electronics or discipline of computer science or information technology, but also for electrical, for mechanical, for even probably civil engineering, chemical, all variety of programs. These tools are becoming very important. Arduino is a very, very important one, and along with that, whether it is Scilab, the Python, Julia, Open Modelica, all of these woven together when students are able to get exposed and they become experts in this. We have seen in the beginning when Kandan was saying about the students drawn from all variety of institutions. One or two of them were from IITs, some of them from NITs, but many of them from ordinary tier 2, tier 3 colleges when they came for internship, completed their internship, and they all got admits in some of the top universities of US. So that means all of these works that Kannan has been doing will encourage students to not only do research, go for higher studies, but in life, some of them have joined big companies as well. So therefore, this is very, very vital and important. And I'm very happy also that the publisher is keeping this in what we call Creative Commons, and therefore anyone wants to use it. There is no, copyright issue and problems of that sort. One can add value to this. People can make use of this, add further content, further more experiments, and this FOSSI business, of making available all these new areas, technologies to grassroots is going to be important. And I have had several programs recently in the last 5 or 6 months during pandemic when Dr. Kannan Maudgulya launched many initiatives in which some of the school students and high school students are able to learn. Even this spoken tutorial, I remember telling many people that if you don't understand something in your language, you can learn it, from IIT Bombay spoken tutorial. So these are all mechanisms of empowerment, and we should also be thankful to the ministry for supporting this kind of initiative, which has raised the bar, and all the people who have contributed to not only writing books, creating new experiments. My hearty congratulations and best wishes to them in their life. Wherever they go, they will succeed because they have been putting in something for others. This happiness is important. We may do something for ourselves, but when you do something good for others, the kind of happiness you get out of that is tenfold more than what you earn yourself. And that is what I'm seeing in the beaming faces. I know Yash, every time when he comes to introduce, he's always happy, beaming, because he every time feels that I'm doing something good for the country, for the nation, for the remaining students. I think that is the spirit of FOSSI. Let the FOSSI win. Thank you very much. Namaskar.
Namaskar.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Anil sir. It's always a pleasure to have you with us. Thank you so much, sir. So moving ahead now, I would like to invite our guest of honor, Dr. Chintan Vaishnav, the Mission Director of Atal Innovation Mission, to launch the books. Atal Innovation Mission Niti Aayog is Government of India's flagship initiative to promote a culture of innovation and entrepreneurship in the country. It was set up in 2016. Dr. Vaishnav is a senior lecturer in MIT's Sloan School of Management, and he serves as the academic director of MIT Tata Center for Technology and Design. He is also a visiting professor at the Indian Institute of Technology, Bombay. He has completed his PhD from MIT, and today he will be launching the books on microcontroller programming with Arduino and Julia, and microcontroller programming with Arduino and Open Modelica. So, sir, Dr. Vaishnav, can you please share your screen and launch these books, sir?
Yeah, you have to just click there.
So this is the book, Microcontroller Programming with Arduino and Julia.
Dr. Vaishnav, are you saying something? Are you on mute?
He has to launch another book as well, no?
Yeah, he
Yes.
has to launch another book also.
All right. Sorry. Can you hear me now?
We can
Yes, sir,
hear.
you're audible.
Okay, all right. Okay, so the authors are Sudhakar Kumar, Manas Ranjan Das, Rajesh Kushalkar, Nirmala Venkat, and Kanan Mudgalya. So that's
Sorry, we missed one person. It is in the. It will be updated. Chandrasekhar from IIT Madras. I mentioned. Unfortunately, looks like the cover was made before that, so his name also will be included. Yeah. Sorry. Please continue.
Thank you. All right. So, and there's one more to launch.
Yes.
So let's go back to this and say, okay, the ribbon's already cut, so we can maybe relaunch the ribbon. Okay. And here's the second one, microcontroller programming with Arduino on Open Modelica. This is again some names that you already heard. And I think all of the names you already heard. So great. So congratulations again to FOSSI for this compendium of 4 books. That will really, really help many people, I think.
Congratulations to everybody, sir.
We would like to hear a few words from you about this activity, about as a mission director.
Sure, happy to share a few thoughts. I mean, I was really, again, like Professor Sahasrabuddhe said, I have known Professor Mudgalya for several years, and what I have always really deeply appreciated is the democratic ethos underneath all of the work that he has done. I think those ethos and bringing people together around those ethos is not an easy it's not a trivial achievement. So first of all, congratulations for that. Again, my greetings to all the respected guests and friends in the audience. Let me say a bit about this books as a maker myself, and why I'm so excited about it. So I am. So my first experience with making was through the famous class at MIT, the How to Make Almost Anything class. So that sort of turned me into a maker. But then subsequently in my own classes, I would teach making largely to bridge the gap between a scientist, an engineer, and somebody on the ground, because a lot of people in the classes that I taught were taking some or the other artifact to underserved communities. And most of the times, they were trying to imagine something that they knew what it was, but these communities really had no idea what it was. And so this idea of making was what was really allowing them to bridge that divide. And that's how, again, I had a experience with making as a teacher. But I think this particular set of these 4 books, they I think are very important because it is a big service to democratizing this idea of making and tinkering. You might say, okay, how so? So let me pose the question that we are contending with at the Atal Innovation Mission. See, Atal Innovation Mission has these, as you know, has the Atal Tinkering Labs. There are 7,500 of them, which may sound like a large number, and it is a significant number, but we have 1.5 million schools. So now the question is, can this idea of tinkering, making, can we democratize it to the extent where it will reach every single student? It can reach every single student and every single school. Imagine we want to do this in 2 years. Think about that challenge. That is a humongous challenge, right? I mean, one might, in a normal extrapolation of what we've been doing, it may seem like an impossible challenge. Uh, now, uh, so now think about the following three phases, right? I mean, anybody who's a maker here knows these three phases. There is the design thinking phase, right? I mean, all of this is very iterative, but I'm sort of conceptually separating them so that we can think about it separately. Okay, there's the design thinking phase. There is the turning what you have thought into an artifact phase, that is the making phase, right? And then there is the application of this artifact, because you may have one artifact that may have many different applications. So application, it's separate these three things, right? If you decouple the idea of um, conceptualizing from constructing, then I think the conceptualization can be democratized much further and much faster as compared to constructing, because the idea of making really is tied to this physical space, and it may be even sometimes held hostage to that physical space, but the idea of thinking is not hostage to that space. Now, of course, as the moment you make this argument, a lot of people said, well, but we're all thinking too much already. We really want mind and hands. Of course, we do want mind and hands. I'm not saying we stop with thinking, but we can teach thinking to people irrespective of the making. That's all I'm saying, right? So the question then is, why doesn't design thinking itself scale, right, easily? So one is, as I mentioned, the hardware, the real estate, the physical lab is tied to a hardware, is tied to a real estate. It's tied to human resources who can teach. And scaling that is much harder, right? Giving it to every student is much harder problem. But but the content itself can scale. Now, there is also a problem there. The content scales, but the pedagogy doesn't scale, right? So there is that problem. And I think the initiative here that we are launching today, it really helps in two places. Uh, One is this idea of Arduino and cloud. I realize that that is coming very soon. But the Arduino on cloud really decouples this idea of having to have a physical space. So that's a wonderful democratizing move, if you would. The second idea, which I thought this whole thing of putting it in a book form where somebody can self-teach the hardware and software. They have enough help so that they jump over the initial difficulty to self-teach hardware and software, and where there is some, and it is democratized with Creative Commons license. It really allows us to democratize the pedagogy of this line of thinking and doing things, right? I mean, that's another huge step. So these two things, decoupling the physical space from the via simulation, and democratizing the pedagogy. I think those two aspects really excite me about what we're doing, what we're launching today. As I said again, there are 7,500 Atal tinkering labs, and I am so always amazed by the amount of energy that these students and teachers exhibit every time I speak to them who work in these labs. And I have really no doubt that these books are going to be a great boon to them. So once again, thank you, Fossey, Professor Mudgalya, for this wonderful effort. I wish it a great adoption. And I also look forward to working together to take things forward.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Vaishnav. It was great hearing you. So now I would like to request my colleague Sudhakar, is a grad student at Systems and Control Engineering at IIT Bombay, to display the shield and the Arduino kit These are used to perform the experiments which are mentioned in the book. So, Sudhakar, over to you.
Yes, thank you, Wes. Thank you very much. Yeah. So I will just take a few seconds to introduce myself. Though Kannan sir has already introduced me, I would just like to talk about my experience. So my name is Sudhakar, as Yash has already mentioned, and I have been working for FOSSI as a research assistant for the past 4 years. I am also pursuing MTech in the Department of Systems and Control Engineering. I first got associated with FOSSI when I joined here for an internship program. It was during my BTech third year, and at that time I was pursuing BTech from Jammu and Kashmir, Shri Mata Vaishno Devi University, Jammu and Kashmir. This internship at IIT Bombay that helped me learn the various open source projects being undertaken by Condenser and FOSSI. Also, for the very first time, I got to work with hardware components. I mean, using the potentiometer to drive RGB LED, driving DC motors, these things were made me very happy about it. And for the very first time, I was sending some commands on the laptop and something was happening in front of my eyes. So those things really helped me. And I also remember when we were working with Modbus protocol, like Sir had also mentioned that we worked with Modbus protocol, and that protocol was new, totally new for me. But thanks to the mentors and the guidance of Fossey and Kannan sir, that we could work on the Modbus experiment. And the interesting point was that at that point of time, like 2015, I could never think that I will be getting questions on this experiment sometime back in my future. So in the recent campus placements at IIT Bombay in last December only, the very first question that the GE people they asked me was about this internship. They were very happy about this Scilab Arduino toolbox, and I think they asked at least 5 6 questions on this Modbus experiment and the various things which I did in that internship. So I really owe my success, whatever I have achieved till date, to Condenser and Fossey. And had it not been for that internship, I might not have been pursuing MTech at IIT Bombay. So I owe my thanks to them. And now for this event, I would like to walk you through the various resources which we have created. So I will start sharing my screen first. Yeah, so I will zoom the screen a bit. So as you can see, like floss-arduino.fossey.in, that is the website which hosts and will keep hosting all the information on this book. So the landing page, though it is a zoomed version, you can see we have talked about the various tools and the versions on which we have worked while working on these books. So these are some of the images while working on these experiments. And so this is the photograph from that workshop in 2015. One can go to this floss where where we have talked about the various open sources. So we are talking here about Arduino, Python, Scilab, Julia, and we have given the official web pages which one can visit and learn more. We have also, means in the book, we have talked about how to install all these things in great detail. So you can always refer to that book also. We have mentioned each and everything in great detail in that book. Now, if you go to Floss Arduino books, this section, this tab actually, so we have written this series of books. If I click on this series of books section, so then it takes me to a page where all the books have been stored. And these books will be getting updated as we receive comments from our learners. So for example, Modelka, these books are here. And we have also stored all the code files here. Like if you click here, you will get all the code files, and then you can follow along the book. So everything is given in the book, and you can download the PDF file from here. Now, when it comes to, so like Yash has mentioned, Sir has also mentioned that we are having a shield, which is kind of, clubbed all the various sensors like potentiometer. I will show it in a while. So if we go to resources section, we can have a look. So we have given all the designs here. So you can contact us if you want to manufacture this, if you want support in getting these things manufactured. So we have given all the information like where to get the PCB files and where to get the shields also. We have identified some places. These things are in the book also. These things are in the book. Now, if you have any questions or any suggestion, so you can always, you can go to contact us, and we have a dedicated email ID for this. You can direct your queries over there, and we will try to respond as fast as we can. Now coming to, we have also a forum where you can post your queries, and obviously it's a public forum, so I guess other people will also like to solve the queries of you guys. So it will be definitely helpful for all of us. It will be like we will be helping each other at the end of the day. Now I think I have also talked about download section, resources we have already talked about. So this is the website where you can find all the information and all the updates on the book, the code files. Those things we will be posting on this website itself. If you have any question or any comments for the book, we will be very happy to address those things. You can always write back to us, or you can post your queries in that forum. Now, interesting part, like we have also spoken tutorials like Anil sir and all the dignitaries, they have talked about this. So till now we have published several tutorials on Arduino, Scilab, Python, Model Cup. So in the book, we have talked about these tools again, but if you want to know more about these tools, you can always refer to our spoken tutorials. So we have given the link. We are right now, we are not having tutorials on Julia, on spoken tutorials. Actually, we will be having these soon, maybe. So these are some of the resources which one can use to use this book actually and to follow this book. Now I will show the shield, which will be somewhat similar to the this one. So I will show the shield. I will just hold it in my hands. I hope you can relate it. So this is the shield which we have, which FOSSI team has actually developed. And the best part is that you have all the sensors embedded here. Like you have potentiometer, thermistor, LDR, RGB LED. So basically, you do not need to plug in any kind of sensors, breadboard. You can always use this shield and run all the experiments. We have also given the breadboard diagrams in the book. So suppose you do not have the shield or you do not want to use the shield, you can refer to those diagrams. You can buy the sensor from the market, and you can definitely use our experiments. You can use the book. So this is the shield. Now, if I mount this shield on Arduino, so this will become a complete setup. Like on the bottom, this is the Arduino, and the shield is getting mounted on this. So this will somewhat look like, and you can plug it in your computer and you can run the experiments. Now to run the experiments, we have given all the information in the book. The book is complete. Thanks to Kannan sir, that his guidance helped us to make it complete in all possible respects. You can refer to book for that. So I think these are the things. We also, like, just to show, this is a servo motor which we can interface with the shield itself. We also have DC motor driver, which we have talked about in the book. So I think these are some of the things which I wanted to talk about. So thank you, Yash. I guess I am done with my part.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much, Sudhakar. So now we shall walk you through the videos of two of our previous interns who have worked with FOSSI. The first person is Miss Sonal Singh, who is an associate software engineer at Clara Bridge, and she has completed her MS from Carnegie Mellon University. May I please request Sudhakar to play this video?
Yes, definitely, Yash.
A very good evening to all of you. It was the summer of 2015 when I was given the opportunity to be a part of FOSSI's Scilab Arduino project under the ICLABE program. I do remember having a little knowledge of the open source concept and had just heard of Arduino. Working upon the toolbox and the book introduced me to a new and better world of possibilities. The journey from having a basic understanding to the ability to be able to contribute to a book was quite a learning curve for me and all the other interns who were working with me. I would like to quote Albert Einstein here and say that he once said that if you can't explain a concept in a simple way, you do not understand it well enough. Thus, for our team, it wasn't just about performing the experiments and gaining the knowledge, but ensuring that our learnings were reflected in the most understandable way in the book. Thanks to Kannan sirs and our mentors' guidance and support, the book is amazingly simple to understand and follow along. I have always appreciated the enthusiasm and passion towards innovation, and although it's been about 6 years now, but FOSSI and IIT Bombay have always been and are still close to my heart. I still remember that we were 4 people who were specifically working on the experiment on Modbus protocol, and we had just finished editing some sections around 1 o'clock in the night and had emailed Sir for a review. And since it was late, we were hoping that Sir would probably see it in the morning and reply to the mail. And to our surprise, within an hour, we had a feedback. It was this dedication and passion that inspired us, and I'm sure that inspiration reflects in the pages of the book. I am so glad and proud to have experienced it. And moving on, I'm so happy to say that the new version of the book has also expanded the domain to the languages like Python, Julia, and OpenModelica. I'm sure that this is just the beginning and that FOSSEE will continue to produce great results in future. Once again, many congratulations and all the best to everybody who was associated with the book. Thank you so much.
So next is Miss Pavni Shukla. Sudhakar, can you please play? She is a senior hardware engineer at Qualcomm and she has received an admit from Stanford University and she is planning to join Stanford University this fall.
It's a moment of immense pride and gratitude for me as I am attending the relaunch of this book. In 2015, when the first edition of this book was published, I was doing my BTech from BITS Pilani, Goa, and came for a 2-month-long internship under FOSSEE. It was the first time when I experienced the joy and satisfaction of working with open source hardware and software and creating something meaningful from scratch. The book documents the experiments from beginner to advanced level, which will help us in our journey by providing a conceptual understanding and giving us a thorough grasp of the platforms. The new open source platforms and complex experiments which are added in now this version of the book, I am very sure it will help a wider audience in making them proficient towards these things by giving them an opportunity for doing hands-on experiments at their home. As I look towards my journey, those 2 months of internship contributes an experience of a lifetime. The change in perspective was really immense. The exposure I got working on the real life problems under the guidance of such knowledgeable mentors and making lifelong friends along the way is something I'll cherish forever. I would really like to thank Kanan sir and the entire FOSSEE team for making me a part of this journey, and I would like to congratulate them for this version of the book. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sudhakar. You may stop sharing now. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So may I now please invite Professor Gyandev Nathe, who is a principal at Government Polytechnic Nashik. He'll be sharing his experience about the Arduino workshop, which was conducted in their institute in 2018. So, Professor Nathe, can you please say a few words?
Thank you. First of all, I congratulate all authors and who made task easy for the kids like even diploma holders. It's a giant work they have completed till date. At this forum, there is no doubt about the significance of the Arduino for micro processor programming and the applications of it. I am glad to share here with all of you, we have did a pilot project for an Arduino using the spoken tutorial for our diploma students in Government Polytechnic Nasik. So here the feedback from the students, faculties, and their enthusiasm is very good. And since the workshop, many students are making an application of Arduino and they are using spoken tutorial as a teacher and doing so many projects at diploma level. Diploma level, knowing that it is a 10th pass students and just at the 12th level, I think 12th level after that, and they are using it very nicely. So this is a time where we shall percolate the use of Arduino and other associated kits for the programming purpose and make it wide open for the students. I think the publication of book is not an easy task, but it's too difficult. The FOSSEE team must have put lot of efforts in research and organizing the content for this. I appreciate trueness for your research work. I am sure that these books will be done an excellent job of explaining difficult concepts clearly and accurately. The method of learning will be developed strong self-learning skills the missing gap and give them a tool to help them excel in the future. I am quite happy regarding my workshop, the support associated with the FOSI team from the IIT Mumbai. I expect a further cooperation also, and I wish all the best for the team for the future development. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Professor Nathe. So thank you. So now I would just like to again ask Mr. Sudhakar from the FOSI team to play some of the testimonials by the participants who have attended our workshops. So Sudhakar, can you please play it?
Yes, definitely. So you want to play me that Professor?
Girish, yes. So the first video is by Professor Girish K, who is a professor at BMS College of Engineering in Bangalore.
Greetings. Let me introduce myself. My name is Girish K. I'm representing RCID 1225, BMS College of Engineering, Bangalore. I'm assistant professor in the Department of Computer Applications, and I'm here for the workshop of an Arduino board. The greatest initiative of MHRD is like teaching the millions of people through teaching and learning process. And the IIT Bombay has taken a greater responsibility of seeing that teaches to the last ground level. So they are using a number of concepts, they are conducting a number of workshops, and this is one of the series of workshops they have conducted. Here they are using the concept called side-by-side method, where do it, learn by doing it. So once you do things, then you can make better learning, which is an active mode of learning, which beneficial not only faculty, students, and everything. Along with that, we are the lucky fellows or lucky few representation of artists. We are representing states, where we also have a responsibility to see that the top-down approach, what they are following, it also reaches to the grassroots level. It may be beneficial to other faculty members of our state or the students who are working on that area. At the end, the goal of mission, MHRD's mission is to see that it reaches the ground level and good effective outcome will be reached. So feedback for them is they're carrying a good job. I require them to carry for another long period of time so that we can compete with anyone in this world.
Any specific thing about whether the spoken tutorial method that you have used to learn, how effective will it be when the same video sets they are made available to the students? Or
that's the greatest thing about this. Like every students or any persons have their limitations, have their phase of learning things. Spoken tutorials gives me an edge. Like whenever I want, how much time I can spend it. I can learn my own, do it and learn. The space or these what you call like speed or creativeness have full opportunity to do that, and I can showcase my talent. End of the day, if possible, if I do some good project which is beneficial for a social cause or anything, then my learning will make some good.
Job and employment do you think like this method of learning, because many students outside, like we are training the teachers and teachers in turn will train the students, so do you think this method of spoken tutorial will help students get jobs and other activities, because we are giving them skills, so life skills like IT training skills, so will it help them in terms of gaining jobs or other things? What is your perspective?
It's a two-edged question, because once you are giving a technology and making to learn, maybe they may have another thing of what the need of a teacher also. In the role the teacher or the mentor plays in. It's a good combination if the mentor and the spoken tutorials have good edge and they do some good project. It's a win-win case where both student and faculty can collaborate and come with a good idea.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. So Sudhakar, can you please play the next video, which is by a student who has attended the workshop on Arduino.
So today we all are here for the workshop of Arduino. So first of all, thanks to our department to arrange this workshop, which is very important for us to make our final year project. And thanks to all of the expert lecturers who have come today. They gave us a great knowledge about Arduino. We learned a lot and we experienced a very great joy to deal with the Arduino boards as well as the LCD LED hands-on. So thanks to all of teacher, staff and expert lecturers to give us this chance. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Sudhakar. You may stop sharing. So moving forward now, I would like to invite Mr. Sunil Shastri from Shroff Publishers to address the gathering. So as Professor Kannan has already mentioned, Shroff Publishers will be bringing out the print format of these ebooks soon. So over to you, Mr. Shastri.
Is he there?
Yes, sir. I guess he was there.
So while we wait for him, let me just share my experience. We came up with a software called OSCAD some time ago, alternative to ORCAD. And of course, we had to change the name because Cadence came and said that OSCAD sounded very much like ORCAD. We had to change it. But prior to that, we conducted a workshop. And this was T10 KT workshop conducted by Professor Phatak. T10 KT means train 10,000 teachers. I think we had about maybe about 7,000 odd teachers attending that workshop. So we wanted to bring this out, and it was I think about 150-page book that we produced, because we thought that instead of just giving a PDF of open source software that we created, if we come up with a book, then it will add value to the software itself. So that was the idea. And so we released it as under Creative Commons, so anybody could download it and access it, just like we are releasing all the current books under Creative Commons. But then normally, as I mentioned earlier, publishers don't like to print those books. They want complete control. But staff publishers, Mr. Sunil Shastri was very happy to bring it out. As a matter of fact, he brought it, he gave it to us at about 60, 65 rupees. I don't remember the exact amount. It was almost like $1 per book, per copy. And in fact, the mailing cost was much more than the printing cost, because we had to send it out across to all the centers wherein people attended the T10 KT workshop. So if Mr. Shastri is there, would like to listen to him.
Sir, I guess he is not there. I'm not able to see him in the list. I'm not very sure.
So okay. I sent an invite. I don't know whether he got it or not. Maybe we'll get on with the other program. If I can get hold of him,
Yes, sir.
he can come and say a few words.
Yes, sir. Yes, sure. Yeah. So,
What
sir,
is
we can
next
just
on the
wait.
agenda?
So, sir, next we are towards the end. We just wanted to know from you, like, what are the future plans regarding these books, and how can people contribute? So, if you can just give them a
in fact,
brief about that.
it may be, I don't know why Mr. Sunil Shastri is not able to get in touch with us. Somebody can call him. If Busha, if you have his phone number, you can give him a call. While waiting for him, yeah. There is one thing that I wanted to talk about. In fact, some people have also asked about where to get the hardware, because Arduino Uno is easily available. During good times, we had got for about 400 rupees, 450 rupees. Now, because of shortage of hardware, it can be sold anywhere from 500 to 900 rupees. Okay, we don't know the exact price. And then the components to make the shield, that may cost about 250, 300 rupees to make that. So the best thing is for people to download the. We have also given in the book, in the appendix, we are giving the details of suppliers. We have given details of one supplier, not because we like that person, because that's the only one we got. But in case we get more names of more suppliers, will be vendors, we'll be happy to share that information also. And of course, some of these components are also available in Amazon, Flipkart, and so on. So we believe that many colleges have a PCB making facility. So it is possible to make them and then get the components from the vendor whose details we are giving in the book, and then solder them and then get going. And we of course have a limited number of boards, and actually it becomes very expensive for IIT Bombay or FOSSEE project to create, because we need to employ somebody. Our overhead costs are very high. We have to pay the salaries. So if you amortize those, then the cost becomes very high. So in order to keep that in mind, at least to recover part of the cost and to reduce our dependence, we are going to make available these shields at 1,000 rupees. It's almost like 3 times the cost that will be if you were to do it yourself. so as to encourage you to do it yourself. Of course, this difference will also hopefully provide an opportunity for many hardware manufacturers that they can actually maybe able to supply at 500 rupees, 600 rupees. Maybe even some colleges can say that they have a PCB lab and it is idling some other time, and they may be in a position to do that. They can offer it at 500 rupees, 600 rupees, which is lower than what, at what price we can offer and so on. Ideally, IIT Bombay and FOSSEE project should not be in this space. We should not be in the hardware business at all. We should not be supplying boards and all that. We should only come up with methods, educational content, and so on, and leave this job of creating this hardware to people who are lot more efficient. So that is something that I thought I should say. We have been releasing our books, our FOSSEE things, and also spoken tutorials under CC BY SA, Creative Commons Attribution Share Alike. But here, this book alone, we decided to release under CC BY NC ND, non-commercial, non-derivative. The reason is non-commercial because then it will be possible for a vendor to for Sunil Shastri permissions to publish, for example. And then non-derivative. Yeah. So because we said ND, non-derivative, because we wanted to make sure that book is still whatever is released under that we will go through it, we'll verify it, and so on. That's the reason why I removed other things, ability to change. That's all I wanted to say.
Sir, I was not able to contact Mr. Sunil Shastri,
so,
sir.
okay, I think we have come to the, then we can end this program.
Yes, sir.
I would like to ask whether Dr. Vaishnav or Professor Sasrabuddhe would want to add any words, closing.
Kannanji, there's nothing to add, but it's a very exciting journey of empowering people, and some of the students who went there for internship and then got interested into it, and probably some of the students would have done this for the first time. We would have learned something in theory, but actually using Arduino board and then working on that would be for the first time for some of the college students. And then taking interest from that, cue from that, even conducting new experiments, providing chapters for your book. I think it's a absolutely phenomenal journey that they have all undertaken. And my best wishes to all of them and the entire FOSSEE group. And in future, all the future interns who are going to come there, for doing the internship, my best wishes to them as well.
Thank you. Dr. Vaishnav, do you want to say anything?
Yes, same here. I think, again, very inspiring to hear about these journeys. In fact, your last point, Kannan, brought the following thought to mind. You said your point about being able to manufacture these shields themselves, because there are the PCB manufacturing facilities. In fact, between AICTE, where Professor Sasrabuddhe is, and then AIM, we have been talking about linking colleges to schools, and that there's a ready infrastructure available for doing things like that. So I hope we can think further about it. But wonderful, excellent initiative. Congratulations to all, and looking forward to reading the books.
Thanks. Thanks, Dr. Vaishnav. There was, I think we didn't understand, I mean, there was, I don't know, Professor Nathe was not introduced properly. Professor Nathe coordinates several polytechnic colleges in Nashik. And so he was the one who helped organize a workshop at Nashik. And Polytechnic College students were very happy. Of course, they all listened to the spoken tutorials in Marathi, if I'm not mistaken. I think we had the Marathi dubbing for them. Of course, we always say that I always tell, listen to it in your mother tongue if you have difficulty, but then listen to the English version so that you can actually become fluent in English also. That many people have said that it helps. So that's all. I think we have come to the end of the program. I'm very happy that we had close to 800 participants in this event, and many people have downloaded the books. And we postponed the print edition because there is always, if you recall, Donald Knuth said that for every mistake he'll give $1, right? So of course we have lots of mistakes. Mistakes have to be corrected. Hopefully we'll correct them, and then Mr. Sunil Shastri will bring out the print edition. I think if I can add to what you said, Dr. Vaishnav, I think you have several other initiatives also, Atal Tinkering Labs and also innovation labs. I think you have three. I think.
So
Yeah, please.
Yeah, I could just list them. We also have Atal incubation centers, about 68 of them, which are incubation centers at either universities or in manufacturing facilities like MSME type of places, or industry verticals like the dairy sector, coffee board, etc. So there are these are the incubation centers. See, whereas the tinkering lab is like a small footprint in a school, incubation center is a full-fledged sort of 10 crore rupees type of a facility individually. So that is where people can take ideas to, prototypes and early stage production. And then from there, we can take it further. And then we also have Atal community incubation centers, which are similar incubation centers, but they are with civil society organizations, pretty established ones. So they take on problems of the communities. This is a program that's just getting started. And we have a couple of other streams. One is called Atal New India Challenge, where ministries submit a national challenge, and we connect translational sort of solutions to this challenge. And then another program where MSMEs give problem statements, and we connect solutions to those problems. So this is the gamut of everything that goes on. But one idea that since you spoke about the spoken tutorials, is very relevant in the present times at the Atal Innovation Mission. One of the things that we are very seriously working on is to open up our innovation ecosystem to all languages of India. And so there, I think spoken tutorials have a very integral role to play. So thanks for the opportunity to, socialize these messages. Yeah.
Thank
you. Karnan and Chintan, some of these initiatives which you talked about are very exciting. And AICT has also been doing many activities. Some of the audience here may be aware, they must be participating, some of them may not be. So I would like to also reiterate some of them. And one of them is, most recent one is the establishment of Idea Labs in the institutions, which are on the similar lines that of either you call it as AIM centers or incubation centers, where we give 50 lakh rupees as well as 5 lakh rupees for maintenance for the next 5 years. And then they have to put in 50 lakh, either from a partnership with an industry with an MOU or their own money. So it means it's an investment of 1 crore rupees worth equipment, where there can be a lot of new idea generated, innovative activities happening in the campuses. And very recently, just about a week ago, 49 of them we have already funded. And per annum, we would like to fund 100 of them. In about 4 to 5 years' time, there must be around 500 such centers all across the country. And they must support nearby colleges, nearby schools. So I think this is a very exciting change that is happening. And, Chintan, you rightly pointed out about making anything from MIT, Neil Gershenfield was there in Pune. We had a conference of the Fab Lab conference. When the last time something similar to right now COVID, SARS was the was the thing which was there in big quantum, and many people were afraid of coming. Indians did not come to our conference in Pune, but all the way from many countries of the world, people came to Pune. So I think these are exciting times that we can keep on innovating many other activities which we are doing. My appeal to all the college teachers who are here and leaders should keep watching the programs that we are launching, which are all empowering our faculty, our students, and it is the win-win situation. Together we can work and together we can do it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Anil sir. So now we are towards the end of this book launch event. So now I would like to call Miss Usha Viswanathan, who is a senior project manager at FOSSI, to give the formal vote of thanks. Usha, I'm over to you.
Thank you, Yash. So thank you everyone for attending this virtual book launch. And we are sure that the faculty members and students of various colleges and institutes across India as well as abroad will be able to take benefit of whatever contribution, small contribution which we have done to the open source community. So now I would like to thank all the special dignitaries present in this event, Professor Anil Sahasrabudhe, Chairman AICTE, and Dr. Chintan Vaishnav, Mission Director, Atal Innovation Mission, for sharing their thoughts and encouraging our activity and giving all their support. So thank you, sir. And I would also like to thank all the authors who were present in this occasion, and their inspiring words also actually might have inspired the faculty members and students who are attending this event. And a special thanks to our funding agency, the Ministry of Education, Government of India. And I would also like to thank Professor Kannan, who is our PI and who is the driving force behind all the efforts which we are undertaking. And last but not least, I would also like to thank all my team members from the FOSSI project who are actually tirelessly working and contributing to the open source community. So thank you all and have a great day.
Bye.
Thank you, ma'am.